Yo, we hitting hyperspeed across the finish line. Lights on the ship look like it's Christmas time. Real recognize real, homie. And you've been looking unidentified. The government lied, why is it classified if there's nothing to hide? That's why we're looking for answers up in the sky. It's the theory with Mike Beavers.
Alright guys, welcome to a very special episode of The Theory, and by special I mean this marks the start of our new mini-series, Video Games the Government Doesn't Want You to Know About. And today's video we're going to be talking about the game Majestic that came out in July of 2001, and it is an ARG game, which stands for Alternate Reality Game, sort of like RPG role-playing game, but this is alternate reality game. So you actually, the game plays you in real life. You play it with your AOL Messenger and your email and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's absolutely nuts. So I've never even heard of anything like this until recently when I was talking to my good friend who actually told me about this game. So we're going to be talking about this in upcoming videos. We're going to be talking about the legendary Polybius and a bunch of other really crazy games you would never even think ever hit the market. But as always, today's video is brought to you by Kreepi and the Graveyard Goonz. Make sure you go check them out. Of course, please subscribe to the channel if you like this sort of content. We also do a lot of interviews with people in the ufology communities, UFO footage reviews, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and jump into what Majestic is.
EA.com presents a suspense thriller that goes beyond your imagination.
We're gonna kill you if you don't stop.
I think they're in on it.
So real,
Here's a little piece of advice.
so hauntingly personal,
I'm afraid to leave the building.
it invades your life.
We saw them wheel the body out.
And once it's there, it never leaves. Majestic. It plays you.
Alright guys, so as you can see, Majestic is a pretty crazy game, and it was pretty much ahead of its time as far as ARG games go, which, like I said before, I've never even heard of. But this game, legit, like it says, it plays you. It will call you, it will leave you messages, emails, your AOL account. I'm sure a lot of you old heads probably know about the AOL accounts. I had one when I was a little kid, even though I don't know what I was doing on it. Probably something from MySpace or something stupid like that. But this game literally has, it's wild. It plays in real life. When you start the game, the first thing that happens is after you fill out this questionnaire, what hospital you were born at, all this wild stuff and information, personal information, a message pops up saying that AimX Studio has caught on fire and the game is no longer. So literally as soon as you start the game is over. You get a notification from the EA servers saying you cannot play this game anymore. But as soon as that happens, that's when you start getting the crazy calls and the messages telling you to go places, to look for stuff, to go to websites and find these kind of things. And it's absolutely nuts because I imagine this game fell into the hands of somebody who was mentally unstable. They could very easily take this and believe this is real life. And it makes me wonder if that's part of the reason it's not around. I know online it says the reason the game stopped was because there wasn't enough players. But to me, it makes me wonder if maybe they were worried about something happened. Maybe people were going to take it too far. Just like people used to worry about Grand Theft Auto video games causing violence and carjackings. Maybe they were worried that people really thought they were living a real-life conspiracy. Their game crashed and they need to solve this conspiracy. So it made me think about that. Now, I want to show you guys a clip from my good friend John Marks. Talk to him all the time. He's who actually told me about this game. I would have had no idea about it. We were talking about the Polybius, which there's a connection between these two I'm going to tell you guys about in a little bit. But it's absolutely nuts. He played this game, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a clip of what happened when he played.
Hey, Mike, it's John. I just wanted to give you some information about playing the game Majestic back in 2001. It wasn't a type of game where you could sit down and beat it in one weekend. The game more played you than you played it. What it was you signed up for a subscription and you put in your information like your email address, your AOL Instant Messenger, and your phone and your telephone number. And the game would contact you in one of those three ways, and it would tell you, hey, you got to go to this website and try to crack the code in there. And you go to the website, and it would send you to another website, and you would get, if you figured out the puzzle, you would submit it through email or the instant messenger. It was a really neat game. It went on for several weeks. It was going to be episodic, but it unfortunately got canceled after, I think, a year. But it was neat. Like, the phone recordings were really cool. And the really funny thing was, you could change the settings of when you would receive messages through instant messenger or by phone. And I never actually did that. So I could get phone calls any time of the day, night, whenever. So this was back when I was still living at home, and I'm sleeping, and it's around 3:00 in the morning, and I get this frantic knocking on my door, and my mom's yelling, John boy, wake up. And I'm like, well, what's going on? She goes, John, there's this guy on the phone. He's saying that he needs to talk to you because he's kidnapped, and he had stolen one of the guy's cell phones, and he's trapped in the back of a van. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, he's on the phone. He wants to talk to you. Is there something that he got kidnapped? And I'm like, I get on the phone, and it was the recording from the game. So to this day, like, my mom passed away a few years ago, but like, it is probably one of the funniest stories that happened, with her. And, we always joked about it. But, yeah, it was a really interesting game. It was ahead of its time because back in 2001, the internet was still kind of new, not everybody was really using it. And we were on dial-up. It wasn't even high-speed internet yet for at least another 3 or 4 years. But, yeah, it was a great game, a lot of fun. It was really trippy. We dealt with a lot of conspiracies and aliens and UFOs and all this other stuff. But I would love to see another game like that again. I hope this was informative, and hope it goes well with your video. Talk to you later, bud. Bye.
All right, guys, so now you've heard his side of the story of playing this game. Now, I wish there was a reboot that I could find and try to replay this game and see how deep these conspiracies are, if there's any truth to it. Of course, the name Majestic goes back to Majestic 12, the 12, top dog elite people that ran the UFO projects and stuff back in the day, and all kinds of wild stuff goes into that. I won't go into full detail. That's for another episode. But just in general, this game's got the right idea. I would love to see something like this come back out in the future and, be able to play a real-life game like this. So I absolutely love this idea. It's super duper cool. Now, I want to talk about one thing. My next video, Polybius, that has to do with that arcade game that never existed. We're going to be talking all about that in the next video, but they're both based in Oregon. This video game, the Amex servers, are based in Beaverton, Oregon, and it asks you to follow the Portland Chronicles. Now, the only thing I'm going to say is, what is it with weird conspiracy video games that have to do with weird conspiracies? I don't know why they're based in Oregon or what's the point of Oregon is, but Polybius and Majestic both have strong ties to Oregon, which, as you know, UFOs over U of O stands for UFOs over University of Oregon. That's where I live. So I thought that was really interesting. I'm going to do some more digging and see what other kind of crazy Oregon conspiracy games there are, or anything to do with these, possibly giving us information of why they're in Oregon. But yeah, it's really, really interesting stuff here, guys. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that awesome story from John about actually playing Majestic. It's cool to have somebody who actually has played this game before give their first-hand account. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you're paying attention for next week's video about Polybius, because that thing is even holding weight all the way up in today. I'm sure you guys have heard about the recent series Loki. If you watch it, there's actually a scene where it features Polybius, the arcade game, standing right behind Loki. Now, you can look up Polybius yourself, and you will see a million crazy things about it, but I'm going to give you guys some wild conspiracy theories behind that game. So make sure you stay tuned. Check the links in the description for all of my personal links, as well as my awesome sponsors, Kreepi, Tiki, and the Graveyard Goons. They host a hilarious prank call show on YouTube that is, honest to God, the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So make sure you guys check them out. And I appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you guys next week.